Eric Bieniemy were balling before they got blown out by the Buffalo Bills 37-3. And I got to give respect to Eric Bieniemy for leaving Sam Howell in this game, the whole game, despite the blowout. These are going to be the growing pains that they have together. And honestly, this was the test I was worried about with Washington, only beating Arizona, only beating Denver. Like, what were they going to be against a smash mouth team like the Buffalo Bills, who absolutely ransacked them 37-3? First drive, back-to-back sacks. Sam Howell was picked, and it really just kind of snowballed down from there, right? It got real frustrating for them in the second half. Washington drives down to the Bills' 15-yard line before getting a third interception. That snowballs into a punt, a fumble, a pick six, which was absolutely horrible, and another punt in the football game. This game this game was 16-0 going into the fourth quarter with about 10 and a half minutes to go until Josh Allen ran it in. So 3 Sam Howell interceptions yielded only 16 total offensive points for the Buffalo Bills. We kind of saw games like this back in the day with Buffalo where they were playing the Texans before CJ Stroud. Some other games earlier in the year were like they let these bad teams hang around for about 70 to 75% of the game. I don't mean to go out and call Washington a bad team, but when you beat Arizona and Denver and you get blown out by 34 to the best team you played, I get it, it's the Bills, and this is what the Bills do, right? But it's very tough to see the Commanders go down this way and to really see the Bills have these people hang around for good amounts of time before they finally get to pull away. You know, Josh Allen only scrambled 3 total times in this game, but he absolutely murdered them, it felt like, at those times when he scrambled. Only 3 total for the day. Again, the first one came on the Bills' opening drive of the game. Commanders had a chance to get off the field early with Buffalo backed up at their own 25 on a 3rd and 10, but Josh Allen gets through them, converts with a 13-yard run. They led that to a field goal. The second one was even more crushing to the Washington team. The Bills were backed up again. This time they were at their own 11, but he gets away from pressure from the defensive line, runs 23 yards upfield on a 2nd and 12. The Bills go on to score another field goal. That's 13-0. And then the last one really put it on ice and out of reach for them. 2nd and goal at the Washington 10. Allen took the ball in himself for the touchdown that made it 23-0. But the Commanders knew that rush discipline was really going to be a priority in order to limit Allen and the Bills' offense because they don't want to let Josh Allen get outside that pocket. Like, you're going to have a spy on him. You know what Josh Allen is capable of, no doubt, as things go on, you know, with him as a player, as the Bills grow, as he grows. And that was one of his big, pluses coming into the game. But despite some pressure from the defensive line at times, the Commanders finished the game without a sack. Very unlike them. And the reason I wanted to bring them up is, like Sam Howell and Eric Bieniemy really were balling through the first 2 weeks of the season. We see it's a top 10 offense. Like, Eric Bieniemy literally has that offense clicking. And again, it was against Arizona and it was against Denver. And they got very old here against the Buffalo Bills. But this is part of the growing pains. Like, for Washington to have the talent they do offensively and defensively, Eric Bieniemy is just patiently waiting in line to get that head coaching job from Ron Rivera. These are the type of losses, these are the type of growing pains that you're actually going to have to go through in order to get where you want to be in the NFL. I don't know exactly what it's going to bring for the Commanders. Like, honestly, let me pull up the rest of their schedule. I'll give you a little score prediction here realistically. So they're 2-1 right now after losing. Oh, come on now. They're 2-1 right now after losing to the Bills. I think it's a loss to the Eagles, probably a win against the Bears. I think they could beat the Falcons. I think they could beat the Giants. I think it's another loss to the Eagles. I think they could beat the Patriots. Probably lose to the Seahawks. Probably lose to the Giants there. Probably split with the Cowboys the way that's going. I think they'd lose to the Rams, the Dolphins, the Niners, the Jets. So, like, not a whole lot of wins on here, right? This still is a football team that has some growing to do, and ultimately is going to still have some things to get through with Eric Bieniemy and with all these teams, that they're playing throughout the NFL season. But again, leaving Sam Howell in with his 4 interceptions, like, they're going to have things really roll out that way if Eric Bieniemy is going to get the full grasp on this team, because it can't be a situation to where it's like Brian Flores with Tua pulling him out of the game or Jalen Hurts getting pulled out of the game by Nick Sirianni, because ultimately they don't want to have the trust in the quarterback to really lead them through the entirety of the season, like to go through those difficult times. But y'all get in the chat, get in the comments, let me know what you think. As like I said, Sam Howell and Eric Bieniemy were balling before they ran into the buzzsaw of the Buffalo Bills, losing 37-3 and suffering their first loss of the year.